What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 15 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Mannfred von Carstein Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, it was a big battle variety sort of episode. We fought lizards, we fought rats, we fought mushrooms, and I do believe we also fought the Drowned Dead in the debut of Ludwig von Deal's Necrarch army, and got to love all the variety on offer and the battles that they bring us in the very different ways that our armies have been working, and we got more armies on the way as well. Got to love me some vamps. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time, we've taken Black Crag and we'll continue advance into Gorbad's territories with the Ghoul army. Though we'll probably have to send Kadon von Sunkenhub back around to take Galbaraz for us. We unfortunately don't have any armies here, though I suppose if we no longer shadow the Skaven, we can send Ludwig to help out with the Badlands, essentially, until we link up with the Pirates of Sartosa. I'm a little bit concerned about them taking territory that should rightfully belong to Mannfred, but if he needs to, he could always betray them. I'll think about that. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this turn, I believe we are pretty much good in that I did the building between the episodes, and we can probably end the turn, or at the very least, I don't remember anything else that we had to do, so we might as well and just get a move on. Double checking all of the new guys, and no, I think we're good. Durthu's gone, so no threats there. Yeah, we're fine. Alright, skip a building upgrade available, outpost upgrade available, outpost available. Moment. Outpost with who? Oh, that's so... Oh, it's gonna show up every single turn, isn't it? Now, well, whatever. Too bad, so sad in turn. Alright, as usual, while the turn is ending, housekeeping. We did make the engagement threshold, and so this will be a long-ish episodes, though I've not really been able to keep it just to an hour long for this entire campaign so far, but forgive me my bias towards the vamps. Anyway, the engagement threshold remains 300 likes and 50 comments or whatever it was, and the next episode will be an hour-ish long as well. Anyway, Sylvania, etc., hit. Huh. They're gonna attack us again? Really? The Wood Elves? Okay. One of our named Graveguard is done for. Well, I guess we didn't fight Durthu because he had 1 stack and it was weak. This is at least 2 stacks, but we do have the zombies with us, but you know what? We'll fight it. We'll fight it. Why not? We're here to fight after all. Go. Alrighty, here we go. The Red Duke is at it once more with his coterie of Blood Knights, the Red Death. We'll see them in action against many. A Wood Elf, going to be interesting to see how effective they'll be with arrows raining down in multitudes, and there are going to be a lot of range units between all of these armies. That said, we do have a lot of zombies on the field, or who will be on the field very shortly. And they'll be able to soak up many an arrow, I'm sure. Stats-wise, we got 25% missile resistance and 10% physical resistance on the zombies so far, and once we get the appropriate tech, we can get another 10% physical resistance on them as well, which will make them even more difficult to deal with, or at the very least, be able to absorb even more. And we still have a tech to go to get them an additional 100%, not upkeep, although that would be, well, I was about to say that would be nice, but it's kind of irrelevant. 100% healing cap, even more healing cap, so that'll be even nicer. Anyway, we're going to start off on the right flank, where our Black Knights will charge out and charge into the enemy Glade Guard, who are going to back off, which is kind of interesting, as it seems like they move fast enough, the elves I mean, to somewhat blunt the charge of the knights, who kind of run over them, but don't actually dish out enough damage. Kind of interesting. I suppose these are the sword and board variant and not the lancers, but their charge is at 45, so they should have been able to hit the enemy to some degree. Either way, I suppose it doesn't matter, as these enemies will get locked down and they'll get torn apart in melee either way. And the rest of our Black Knights will continue charging, and every unit of Glade Guard that is running is a unit of Glade Guard that is not firing, as unlike some other units, they can only fire while moving when they're moving forward. And there we go. The Deepwood Scouts, however, are able to fire everywhere, 360 degrees, so we're going to have to prioritize them and charge into them. Ooh, look at all those different colored arrows go. I love mixing the different arrow types when playing various factions, including the Wood Elves, and it looks like despite all those resistances, the zombies are starting to suffer quite a bit, having already lost about half of their HP on one unit. That said, many more zombies are on the approach, and our main line of Graveguard are waiting for the zombies to soak up a little bit of damage before moving in. And got to love overwhelming our foes in this manner with the vampires. Speaking of vampires, and I do mean actual vampires, Blood Dragon Knights, or Blood Knights rather, are going to move on in and strike at the first of the enemy range units and cause havoc in the background in the same way that the Black Knights are doing on the right flank. And the Red Duke is sort of running around looking for the enemy Spellweaver, though he doesn't have an easy way to significantly enough slow them down, as their movement speed is quite fast. I think Al-Sif, the Northern Sword ability, does give some speed reduction, but probably insufficient to actually catch anybody. I guess we'll see. We'll see if the... 50%! Actually not bad, but enemy's not taking damage as yet, so maybe not enough, depending on the unit. Anyway, it looks like the enemy is chasing after some of our Black Knights with some Wildwood Rangers and some Bretonnian peasants with polearms for some reason. But it's the Wildwood Rangers with their armor-piercing damage that we have to be concerned about. Our Graveguard are finally arriving, and we'll be able to dish out the damage that the zombies are missing here. Gotta remember that these are the non... Oh wow, look at that. Van Hill's Dance Macabre gives them melee attack at 70. Pretty solid, I gotta say. Alright. Even if the damage isn't there, that'll mean a little bit of trickle damage from the zombies at the Dryads and whatnot. Yeah, 3,000. Certainly better than nothing, and it's a game of numbers, and damn do we have the numbers here. The enemy lines are being overwhelmed, the zombies approach from every direction, the battlefield is thus a little bit wider than we might otherwise like for, good shots of what's happening, but all good. Wildwood Rangers still chasing around the Black Knights, but we can't really fight them one-on-one. They're anti-large, they're armor-piercing, and this is not a good, matchup for us. So we'll hit them a bit, and then we'll back off lest we lose units. And we'll send Graveguard or zombies to deal with those guys while the Black Knights continue wheeling around and dealing with the enemy Deepwood Scouts and Gladeguard. Looks like the Red Duke has taken about half HP off the enemy's Spellweaver, who's also now surrounded by Graveguard and zombies. Not that the Red Duke needs help with this so much as just to prevent the Spellweaver from simply running away. Do like those effects, and how much damage have you managed to deal with those AoE bits? 6.2k, not too bad. Alright, well, we've still got more Graveguard and more zombies on the approach. Of course, the enemy is Wood Elves, so they'll be fleeing as close to the edge of the map as possible as they continue running away from the zombies. But once again, as long as they're running, they're not firing at us, at least with the Gladeguard. And even in the woods, they won't have enough advantage and will eventually get overrun. The bounce power has shifted to about 55% in our favor now, and it looks like Datan, the first of the enemy Spellweavers, is defeated and will run away and probably leave the map. Looks like the Red Duke can't quite catch up. Come on, you can do it, Red Duke, please. Hey, there we go. Spoke too soon. I guess he wanted to make me look like a fool. Anyway, finally we've got some Graveguard with great weapons. The Sand Syndicate moving in to get a little bit of great sword on a glaive action. As we fight the enemy Wildwood Rangers, we were taking quite a bit of damage on our White King with them, who's lost about half of his HP to their armor pierce, and they're anti-large. Since they're anti-large, though, and not anti-infantry, our Graveguard with great weapons might be able to do this. We shall see, though, because they don't have any support units nearby, and so don't have quite the stats that they normally would, though 55 and 46 ain't too bad, you gotta admit. And, wait, Wildwood Rangers have 20% fire resistance? Oh, and we have fire damage on our units because the defeat trait gives us fire damage against Wood Elves, and Wood Elves have fire resistance. So in fact, it's not good. Well, what can you do? This fight is still ongoing and will probably be ongoing for a while. In the back line, though, the enemy continues to run out of troops. The bounce power is at about 80% in our favor. Their left and center have completely collapsed, and most of their units have been essentially corralled over on the right side of the map. Our Blood Knights are also riding around in the background, slashing the woods, just charging periodically through lines of enemy Wood Elves. There's some pretty cool tree shots of the Blood Knights riding around, I gotta say. And the Black Knights as well. Maybe the Wood Elves don't quite feel right at home in these woods anymore. And just a matter of time now until we force all the remaining Deepwood Scouts and Glade Guard to break. And that time quickly approaches. Bounce of power 85% in our favor now. Still that Deepwood Scouts unit is holding. Gotta be impressed with it. But now we have support coming in. Unholy Lodestone has arrived, and a Necromancer as well. And those Graveguard are gonna hit all that much harder. Though, impressive damage on the Wildwood Rangers. 18k damage, 53 kills as well. Certainly vastly more than our Graveguard. But they're a pretty scary unit. I was very much enjoying using them myself in the Orion campaign, so there we go. It looks like they will shatter, and if they're shattered, I do believe the rest of the army is done for as well, and the Red Duke wins another fight in Bretonnia. We'll probably have to send him round back the way he came to hunt down Lewin. I feel like he'd like that. Alrighty, there we go. All those numbers only to lose to the numberless tide or be overwhelmed by it. I think we lost about 1,000 or so zombies, but well, obviously we got a decent amount of them back, even if not all of them. And our main stack is, well, more or less fine, but once again, due to a lot of healing. We're going to take the money. I mean, we used about 100... Really? Again? Okay. I guess the game is testing the Red Duke today. The Fay Enchantress will attack him right after the Wood Elves. Huh. Interesting that with only the one stack, she's actually willing to give this a try. That said, she does have a lot of questing knights, and they're going to be stronger than our Black Knights, especially with that armor piercing of theirs, which the regular Black Knights don't have much of. And great weapons versus sword and board should be pretty interesting. It'll be on the Red Death Blood Knights to anchor the line against the Bretonian Knights. Red Duke, it's your show today. Go, buddy.
Our time is now.
Alright, here we go, round 2 for the Red Duke, and looks like the enemy's gonna start it off with an Uranon's Thunderbolt, attempting to hit our ranks of Graveguard with it, but just barely clipping them slightly. Anyway, it looks like everybody wants the Red Duke's head today, Slaneshi giggle, including the Fay Enchantress with her Paladin and Questing Knights in tow. Our zombies may not be here yet, but the Fay Enchantress will lead the charge of her knights into the Graveguard. And the Red Duke will probably find and hunt her down as well. He's flying around somewhere up there. Ooh, and a nice Comet of Cassandora's charge presses us in place, or locks us in place a little bit, and allows the Fay Enchantress to drop a big old comet upon us as well, so a nice job. Anyway, she's going to keep fighting. We're going to debuff her, and that's probably going to take a while because she's going to heal herself. I wonder who the Red Duke would see her as, because once again, he's quite insane. Okay, well, I guess the question is where he is in his own timeline as to how he reacts, but there's a decent likelihood that he wouldn't see the Fay Enchantress as the Fay Enchantress, but might see her as one of his other foes. Certainly he might see Lewin as the previous king, so yeah. Anyway, looks like our Black Knights are out in force. They're having a little bit of a contest with the enemy Questing Knights, with the Blood Knights, of course, and the White King there to help out, as Black Knights versus Questing Knights alone would have not gone so well for us. But against Questing Knights, the Blood Knights should be able to clear them quite well, and then we can use the Black Knights to simply chase them down afterwards and move on to the next unit. The Questing Knights are attempting to protect, let's say, the enemy range units, but absolutely in vain, as we have more Black Knights running around than they know what to do with, and the Black Knights are quite numerous, with 65 units per, or 65 models per unit. The Fay Enchantress is still in the fight, but down to half HP, and oh wow, quite impressively, has brought the Red Duke down to half of his HP as well. Granted, we don't have a single point in his fighting tree, and maybe the Fay Enchantress does have points in her tree, and she also does have a little bit of help from these armor-piercing Questing Knights. I suppose, with regards to the question between the, I like the balefire braziers on the corpse guards, lighting everything up, making the darkness of the woods here a lot more visible. But anyway, as I was saying, I suppose one way of powering up the Red Duke would be to temporarily give him the zombie dragon, and then when he gets enough points in his own fighty tree, we could put him back on the steed. Because the zombie dragon is an easy buff in stats and general, menace capabilities on the field, while he doesn't have any points in his fighting tree with blade shield and quick blood and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, Fay Enchantress is down to maybe 20% of her HP now, maybe 25. The Red Duke is damaged as well, but he has maybe more healing than she does. Kind of hard to say. We certainly do have healing available. That said, she is terrified and is attempting to book it on out of there. And the rest of the enemy army is also not in particularly good shape, as the bounce power has shifted to about 85% in our favor, and our reinforcements have at last arrived. I was originally thinking that the pile of reinforcements of reinforcing zombies would hit the enemy army in the back, but since the enemy attacked us, down goes the Fay Enchantress, I think? No. But since the enemy attacked us, they went towards us, or moved towards us, long before our zombies got onto the field. All good, I suppose. Anyway, we will chase the Fay Enchantress down, just have to clear the rest of the units. There is still a Lord here, I believe a Paladin somewhere in the midst of all this. Granted, a little bit hard to see. But all good, still at least a few units of Knights Errant or Questing Knights are riding around, and damn, they are quick. 85 speed, yeah, so they're a little bit faster than our Black Knights at the current time, though perhaps it's at least in part because our Black Knights are tired. But our Black Knights are nice and visible because of all that balefire on them. Anyway, looks like the enemy tries to charge us and then backs off, and ooh, looks like some Questing Knights have surrounded our White King here, giving him a little bit of action. And, might be a desync, because I don't remember these guys standing still like this. Or maybe they were, I don't know. I suppose it doesn't matter over much. They are active once more, and they're going to find an enemy to hunt down while the White King takes care of whatever units he can. I suppose that there is also the fact that we need to chase down the units here, which is going to be pretty critical, and it might actually be more important to make sure that enemy units are chased down rather than continue to fight certain units, though this aspect does kind of seem like a desync to me. Anyway, the bounce power 95% in our favor. Now the zombies are mobbing whatever units are still around, and surprisingly the Questing Knights were unable to bring down the White King, even though they had completely surrounded him. And I'm surprised because our own Varix Reavers, who are the equivalent with their great weapons, definitely were able to deal with paladins before, or deal with lords and heroes at least. Anyway, a nice little bit of action for the White King, especially as, unlike the units that were fighting in the trees, we got to see what happened. And yet another army fails to bring down the Red Duke, but this menace has been in Bretonnia forever. There are legends about him. Heck, Questing Knights go on, quests to try to bring him, or is it Grail Knights, to bring him down for good. And, well, it's not a menace that's liable to leave Bretonnia anytime soon. Alright, very, very nice. Red Duke only has 3 kills, but one of them was the Fay Enchantress, one of them was Bien the Devoted here, and I guess another one was a random knight or something like that. Damage isn't super high in the Red Duke there because, well, he still has a little bit of trouble without the mass of a zombie dragon, which still has me a little bit on the fence about whether we should give that to him, and just so that he can reposition without issue. But I will continue considering it for however long until the end of the campaign. Anyway, we damage-wise, looks like at 40,000, Warhammer 40k kills, or 40k damage rather, and 257 kills, the relics of the Dune Wars, which Elsif brought back from Erebus, are very, very good. And the second best dealing damage at this Black Knight unit was an unnamed unit, but this one we're not keeping as well as they performed because we don't have enough slots. We need to replace some of the Blood Knights. And at 109 kills and 16k damage, it looks like the Unburied carry the day for the Graveguard. Good thing we left them unburied. Return captives for additional cash. And then let's see if anybody else tries to attack the Red Duke today. Peace treaty, no. Sorry, Zlatlan, I would have loved to ally with you, but it's just not working. Alrighty, what do we have here? Fire resistance, 40% for own army's faction wide, that's terrible. Twist the bargain, casualty replenishment rate, ooh, at the cost of control. Here on Lord, recruit rank all provinces, +4 ain't too bad. Or, all enemies have lowered speed by 20% during battles, area-wide, that's a good X. Delusions of Grandeur. Melee attack, self-ally, +20, physical resistance, +15, enemy stops rampage. Huh. I'm confused about the stops rampage thing, but whatever. All enemies have lowered speed is pretty nasty. So this is a ghoul thing, isn't it? Distilled from the fractured psyche of a Ghoul King, this artifact hums with the echo of mad ambition, and lingering remnants of his ravenous hunger and paranoid delusion. Also, I guess we haven't read this yet. A feral Ghoul King, ruling over a pack of corpse eaters, offers an alliance. His loyalty is uncertain, but his strength in battle is undeniable. I feel bad, but we gotta get this item. It's too good, and this, frankly, is terrible. I mean, granted, this would allow us to use the Night Court Supremacy buff for the right, but this is such a solid item. Extract his madness. The Ghoul King's mind is a swirling vortex of hunger and delusion. Through necromantic rituals, his madness can be siphoned and contained within a trinket, infecting others with his deranged mind. Swell. Alright, Scroll of Shielding, Obsidian Trinkets, few more trinkets to add to us, and those Delusions of Grandeur as well as a Student. Another Pigeon Plucker Pendant, I don't think you need that, or the Scroll, we'll turn those into something a little bit more useful. And Casualty Replenishment to rate +10 for the Red Duke, nice. Constructor for Recruiter, he's a Recruiter and a Constructor. Black Crag Besieged. Oh. Well, that's rude. Frickin' rebels. Okay, Cannibalistic Rituals gives us now buffs for our various ghouls, but that's not the buff that we're wanting. The next tech will give them Battle Healing Cap and the Hunger, so they'll be a lot tankier, and the ghoul army will buff itself up even further. You are gonna lose your potion, and instead gain the Delusions of Grandeur. Feels appropriate. And yeah, hold on to that Terrorgeist now that you have it. Anyway, take out Mr. Bartorg just because we're here. Medium casualties? Oh, the Auto Resolve really hates the ghouls. That's so mean. Okay. And healing is rather negligible, so I guess we'll take the money and heal up the old-fashioned way. Alright. Next up, Wilhelm. I guess since we still can't fight Tretch, and we did destroy Moors, right? Just to double check. They're not secretly in a ruin somewhere, hanging around, waiting to bite back? No. Alright, so obviously Rictus is next, but we can't jump on him quite yet, because we have, what, 6 more turns? Yeah, 6 more turns. That was a total guess, and good job, me. Anyway, you, sir, you're headed to Iron Rock, so let's do this. So let's go into channeling stance, which... Oh, you're already at max replenishment? Darn. Alright, well, it's as good as it's gonna get, and besides, we need to channel anyway, so start moving this way. And if you get attacked, you get attacked. Ooh. And this guy might be trying to go to Valea's Sorrow, so you might have to deal with him. Fortunately, we do have more armies sort of hanging about. The rats are moving this way. More rats are moving that way. Ooh, can we reach... Huh, wait. A hero. I'm just wondering whether we could reach an enemy hero here. We could try to use one of the tech thieves to kill a few of these heroes. They do only have... You know what, give it a try since they're in range. My chance to succeed is actually quite solid, so let's try this. This grave robber at least has like a billion, 16. This guy's never failed. Hey, very, very nice. And that means you can't steal tech for 2 turns, but well, good. And then Body Snatcher, you can try the same thing here. A little bit more concerned about you not being able to steal for 2 turns, because you don't have all that many. And another nice success. Ooh, very nice. This guy's moving this way, so you stay here, Bone Collector, and then maybe try the same thing at one of these guys. We don't have enough assassins to do what we want, but all good. Speaking of assassins, let's assassinate... Ooh, low chance, eh? What about you? 59, I think that's a higher success chance. Let's try you. These guys are really not going to like us after all this. And, oh, assassin, Bloody Mary, come on, we really needed that 12th blood kiss. How about you? And, how did both of these specialized assassins fail with the massive addition of... They have singular focus, they have assassinate, and they still fail. Both of them. Granted, they're a lot lower level, which is probably contributing to that a lot, but it's the principle of the thing. Somewhat. Anyway, this still needs to be destroyed, doesn't it? I did want to move Mannfred out here. Oh! Kairos is around. Oh, he can't escape now. No, Mannfred, you're going down here. I don't know why you lost all your movement, but you're going down here. I'm even willing to sacrifice Dawn's Light or Tor Serpendar. Are these guys still at war? They're not at war. They're only at war with us. Fantastic. Manny, go into ambush. Move this way. I'll let them move forward. I don't care. Frederick, I'm assuming that you can attack Zlatlan. I wonder if you'll be able to auto-resolve it. Wait, inevitable death? Is there anybody we can... No, there's nobody to kill off. We really need that extra kill. Alright, come down here. Kairos has an agent. And try to assess... Oh, wow. Are you exhausted? That success chance is very low. Oh, you still have exhaustion. Alright, fine. Next turn. Move closer. Frederick. I think this guy will run if we attempt this, so I think we'll just go directly for Zlatlan and hope that the auto-resolve allows this. It will. Good. He's a little bit damaged, but okay, we don't need to fight these guys a 3rd time. We're fine as we are. Occupy, please. Alright, enemy killed in battle, another Staff of Damnation. Very, very nice. We only have 2 of those, unfortunately, but every single one is a significant buff to the army, because it's essentially like a mini Van Hell's Dance Macabre, significant buff to melee attack in an area. Anyway, let's buff up, Oh, we got a Spirit Well here. That's actually really nice. I wasn't expecting that. We're not going to delete you, Spirit Well. That will help Heinrich Kemmler and get up and running immediately, or as quickly as we can. Let's do things in order, though. Kadan von Senkenhof. What do we do with you? We could go after this rat army. Abandoning Dragonhorn Mine probably means this guy will try to move towards these, but I kind of want to push you towards these guys. Let's see what they do. Cross the river? This is the one time I actually want you to cross the river. Oh, game, why are you like this sometimes? You guys go kill this together. I'm gonna hope that the auto-resolve will allow us to do this. One time. Alright. And Stillman, please attack this. You're still supposed to take all of those, just auto-resolve it. Still supposed to take all of those scorpions. And take the... Yeah, take the money. Still the money. We need to build so many things. You can keep the Talisman of Protection, though. Not the Dragon Helm, because it's absolute trash, and we'll turn it into something more useful. Kadon, stay in channeling. Get ready to move towards Bitterstone, and then you cannot change any of your stuff, so just stay together. Stay together for now. Morgheim, you are getting ready to near to level 3, which means buffs for Crypt Ghouls and Crypt Cores, or at least reductions in their upkeep. The buffs are here in Galbaraz. Right? No. The buffs are here somewhere else. No, Fortress of Vorag is where the buffs are. Yes? Yes, weapon strength and upkeep reduction. Alright, lots of ghoul stuff. I like it. We'll probably put a few more ghouls in a few places. Is it time to declare war upon Imric? I suppose perhaps it is. We can't just be hanging around here forever after all. Undead Researcher Steel Tech here. Oh, okay, apparently not. I wonder where Imric's main stack is, which is what has me concerned, because it's probably somewhere. And he does like us, but alas for him, he won't like us for too much longer. Is he allied with anybody? No, he's too arrogant for that. Call your allies to help. Let's weaken Sylvania further by putting them into a war, and then let's check on Sylvania. How you doing? No? We forced him into a war with Draika, but they don't seem to be fighting them as yet. In fact, Aranessa is fighting Draika, whereas Vlad is kind of just sitting there. Maybe we should force him into a war with the dwarfs, with the orcs, with Festus. Damn, Festus looks like he's doing good. 10 settlements. Yeah, he is a bit of a thorn in the side of the Empire this time around, huh? Alright, are we able to... we're actually gonna have to fight this. Alright, so Wilmar, just stay there. Bathilda, you stay there as well. We'll get back to you in a second. I want to move the others before we go on. Gustav Grigorovich, grab the island in front of you and then keep moving southward. We may need a little bit of help against Kairos before we send you elsewhere. Loot the carcass, auto-resolve, and take the money you should heal in our friendly seas. Warlock, Hellsteed, and Monster of the Sea, nothing. Alright, 1 materials at sea. We just needed to get it 1 time, and it'll basically complete the admin for the rest of the campaign. So, you gotta keep looking around for those good islands. There's another one here. Now, this is just a mysterious island. Frederick can grab that. Alright, the rest of you are good. Who is up next? Ooh, where is Clan Scryer? We saw their main stack moving, but unfortunately I've lost sight of them. Oh. Somewhat concerning, but okay. You, Ludwig, go here. And you are... you know what, don't. Let's auto-resolve this and get back to our friendly territory. Explore the island, auto-resolve this, no one will die. Come on, materials at sea, somewhere. We just need it once. Raise dead cost, and more dark magic and stuff, which is normally fine, but... what we're looking for right now, and then you go into this army. Help with the replenished troops. Will that actually do anything at sea, out of curiosity? 10-10. Does that change? Nope, 10-10 it does not do anything when out at sea, which is kind of interesting. So the replenishment rate increase doesn't have any impact when... when out at sea, which means we're using our constant casualty replenishment rate. Oh, I guess we're in neutral territory. What if we go out... wait. Is there friendly waters here? Shark Straits are all neutral, despite the fact that these guys own all this territory? Interesting. Just out of curiosity, what happens if we go here? Okay, so out in the Great Ocean, we heal a lot more than in neutral / our vassal territories. If anybody can explain that to me, I would love to hear it, because that doesn't seem to make too much sense. But anyway, you're hanging around. Okay, wait. You're gonna pick up this mysterious island. You know what? Pick up this mysterious island. Yeah, you'll suffer attrition, but do it anyway. And grab all of them. Keep grabbing the islands, and if these guys attack you, it's their problem. I have no idea where they're going, incidentally. Fortified Grog, please. Power Stone. And Curse of Cannibalism for this army, and then get back out here, grab this island, and then bounce between islands until you run out of troops. Or the will to unlive. And the Porous. You are probably going to die to attrition long before you reach this side. Oh. Okay, well, let's make a little bit of a gamble here. I don't remember if Sea Corps is a battle or not. If it's a battle, we won't be able to fight it, but if it isn't, like this mysterious island, we'll still be able to pick it up. Oh, actually, we can just have you pick up the mysterious island. And, damn, this is a battle. Oh, there's another island here. Well, before you die of attrition, keep on going. Gotta keep using this army. You grab this island and head back, would you? You gotta watch out for Nakari as well, because it seems like he's doing fairly well up there. Anyway, you can have Farsight. Favorable winds allow you to return to Mousillon. And what is this? A Sea Corps again, so that'll be a battle. So I don't like how these guys are hanging around here. Man, no materials at sea. Some campaigns you get lucky, and then in other campaigns you don't encounter materials at sea even a single time. Leo Von Deal. Let's move you out here to Sotek's Trail. I'm thinking that we send the Blood Dragons, or this particular Blood Dragon army, out on a crusade into the Southern Chaos Wastes as, well, let's give them something to do. Plus, that'll be pretty fun for them over there. But we'll probably take out Kairos himself with Manny's army, as in most of his faction, before sending Manny up northward to Nagashazar. Now, the recruiters, there was a couple of things I wanted to see. First of all, anything Terrorgeisty? No, we have no new Terrorgeists on the field, unfortunately, by the looks of it. But we had a +1 capacity. Do we not? Am I crazy? Right, move to Black Pyramid for a second. I just want to see. Yeah, no new Terrorgeist. Okay, it's not this turn then, so I guess we're good. You then, recruiters, still need to get all the way to Bathilda and transfer her all of this stuff and the one Terrorgeist for now to Wilmar. Alright, then while we're at it, Kemler, your new army should be up and running shortly, and we really need you to level up, so maybe we'll have you hunt down Marovec here. Huh. Like Fortress of Marovec, but anyway. Necromantic Ritual for you. Raise 1, 2, 3. We'll need 4 Cairn Wraiths. I guess we'll fill his slots with Spirit Hosts and then replace them slowly with Hex Wraiths and Cairn Wraiths as we get capacities for them. So we'll need 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, yeah. That's 8 units of those. Then we will want... Okay, you don't have Necros yet, although let's actually take a look. Malevolent and Corpse Stitcher. I think I did another Malevolent one together with Gorst, so that, let's give it to Gorst. You're Malevolent, right? Unless I'm mistaken, yeah. We'll double up on the Malevolent ones for Gorsty. And you got the wrong corpse card, didn't you? Didn't you? I hate the way that it levels like that. If you miss it, it ain't great. And you have also a regular corpse card. Double up on the Unholy Lodestone. I wish I wouldn't have to check every single one. Anyway, Gorsty, you're gonna, I guess, attack this. You could probably raise, I don't know, a couple of missing units. Oh, we still have Hexwraith capacity, so we just need to wait it out over up north. Alright. I also have Black Knights. What do you do again? David, you have a Graveguard and Black Knights. Can I assist you? Put some Mourngulls in here just for fun. Just the one, though. And the Vargulfs are going to a different army, although, you know what, the other army could probably use another Vargulf at least, so let's pop it into Gorst's army and keep it leveling until we get more Vargulfs and Doggos, and get another Doggo. Hopefully the auto-resolve doesn't kill them off, but we'll see. Anyway, that's good enough for Gorst, so let's put you back into whatever stance you're supposed to be in, and continue. Brains. Steel Tech. Good and decisive defeat, we'll see about that. Do this. There's probably no real need to fight this. If I have... Well, I might fight this between the episodes or I might not, we'll see. You two together might still be able to do it. And also, oh, you're supposed to go into Gorst's army, so you can take... Oh, you're both 20 out of 20. Freaking. Okay, I just summoned the Doggo. Okay, fine. Remove one of the units of zombies from the secondary army and take one of the Doggos from here, just to keep them leveled for the Doggo army, and then Gearhoff, you can replenish troops for Gorsty and start leeching his XP, and then you're gonna go into Gorsty's army as well. And this army is kind of a follower slash auto-resolve army. It's not gonna be a real army. Pyrrhic Victory! We'll kill off a bunch of our ghosts. We'll kill off a bunch of our zombies, rather. Not that bad, though. Although it'll probably take so long to recover. On the other hand, let's see. They don't have any other armies here, although they might build one at Pig Barter. I think we'll just auto-resolve. Frankly, I think we have better things to do than worry about the zombies. And some of them will come back anyway, and we can re-raise a few of them anyway. Let's occupy. Alright, enemy killed in battle, enchanted shield, crone, don't care for the Dragonbane gem, we really need better items, and the season campaigner for Gorst body counter. Oh, that's a good reason to actually auto-resolve periodically. Body counter and bloody and that sort of line of traits is really, really nice. You. Raise 2 more Doggos, and then... how many zombies do we have available? 8. So, let's do... do this. Oh, I got rid of the shambling horde. I'll bring it back. I forgot that there were named zombies in this army. Yeah, let's do the ones that don't have low HP. The shambling horde and the zombie bombi. There we go. This is why you don't usually name the basic units. And oh, you're suffering. There we go. All right, and you probably will need to raise some stuff as well. I guess we could keep raising dire wolves. At least one more dire wolf. You have an unholy lodestone? Get another unholy lodestone going. And one more zombie. Oh, they have exactly one. Perfect. All right, you stay like that, and we will see about other stuff. It's just your army doesn't really matter right now. Anyway, Wilmar can be ignored. The recruiters, I think we dealt with. The Red Duke is his turn. Wait, double check here now. The Red Duke. Kemmler. Oh, right, I was dealing with you. Let's get you some skeleton spears because you buff skeletons as well. And you don't have necros yet, so let's get you a couple of unholy lodestones. So we just maximize his skeleton spears until he has heroes. I want him to have a bunch of whites, but that'll be a bit. Keep getting the skeleton spears. Until you get the ghosties in decent numbers. Alright, good enough. And now, going to channeling stance. You have no mana. Hunt down Merovec here, out-resolve. A little bit of free XP. And take a little bit of free money. Alright, did that level you? It did indeed. Return of the Lich Master is great, but I think we want White Kings up and running as fast as possible, and a single point gives us capacity for 2. Perpetual regeneration is amazing, but we'll get it as soon as he levels. I'd reset him, but I don't want to wait any longer, so we're not going to do so right now. Anyway, 6 out of 7. Oh, we were 1 over, right? No, that's a shame. Flame Revenant does nothing for this army. Let's go for Rotten Warlord, I guess, for the Frenzy ability. Experience gain for units Heroes Army. Better than nothing, I guess. Although I prefer the one of the other ones, but there's nothing here that would help unless... Wait, White King here, you have Cold Iron Armor, eh? I think we should actually take the Unstoppable Charge one to give to the Red Duke. We could swap them around, so let's get Crypt Rider. Unstoppable Charge for Black Knights. Alright, that's the first, and then we'll either give Engelbert to Heinrich or possibly... I'll think about it. Or possibly get 2 to the Red Duke. Speaking of the Red Duke, you, my friend, are just able to reach the Waterfall Palace, eh? I wonder if we are able to draw out this little garrison. Let's find out. Theobald, go here. Kemmler, you go here. Probably don't need to commit this much to it, but, well, we're gonna. It's too late. Field deck. Failure. How dare you. And Red Duke, attack of those. We'll see what happens. Alright, we draw them out, but it's not much. I mean, we're not gonna bother against 3 armies. There is no sense in doing that. We can find much better battles than this. Alright, and go ahead and keep taking the money. Alright. You know what, this buff isn't so bad at the, well, if for certain factions that have like plus 500% and come from post-battle loot, this is kind of irrelevant, minus the character experience gain, which is nice. But right now, it's helping us generate a lot of money, which we really needed, so it's not so bad. Although we did suffer a lot to get here, so, yeah. Hellsteed, Corpse Cart, that's fine, and Red Duke. Do we raise or keep? I mean... It's a little bit of cash. What we could do is we could use these for capacities, maybe? Just so that nobody's here. Just never collect the income here. I mean, collect the income for 1 turn, but afterwards don't bother. Go for Repress Mortals, and then we can just build things that give us capacities for, like, White Kings and Banshees. Unfortunately, it does mean needing to be tier 3, but, we could do Necromancer capacity as well. In fact, start on the Necromancer capacity right now. Alright, and then on a sword tier 3, we immediately build the Spirit Well and the Ancient Armor, and that's 2 more heroes that we could have. We could also build the Crypt Horror capacity here, the Black Coach capacity. Yeah, it's decent. It's something we could use the red territories for without being worried about building them up. And same thing, I guess, for the Southern Chaos Waste, which is generally what I like to use them for on factions that can't make good use of them. Anyway, Kemmler, you need to heal up, and then I guess Theobald, you need to heal up as well. Likelihood that these guys suddenly declare war on us and attack us. Distinct possibility, but we'll see. Anyway, time for the heroes to move. You know, steal from Duck or Raz, doesn't really matter. I'm gonna have to end the turn shortly. Let's move all the tech thieves, and I'll deal with the next turn's admin in between the episodes. Shouldn't there be another one out here somewhere? I think there was. This is why I like to do things in order. Now that it's out of order, I don't know who's moved and who hasn't and where, etc. Well, just keep annoying them. And, oh right, there is one other thing we need to do this turn, which is to attack the High Elves. Suppose we could wait one turn, because it's not going to make any difference. And we are waiting to get our Terrorgeists in here. Certainly a possibility. And... Thanatologist. You've nearly made landfall here, which is lovely. These guys, while they are... Oh, they don't hate us as much as they used to, but they do still hate us. Statutory Lich Sense. Steel Tech from here. I have a sneaking suspicion Teclis will be back before we wipe him out, so we're gonna have to be careful with whichever army fights him. And that looks good to me. Let's double check Diplo. What do we have here? Everybody wants to trade, but most of these factions are... Well, Bowman of Orion want to trade again, but we're going to have to hold off. The Dark Elves are somewhat of a better option. The Marathi is the best option, but for some weird reason, she doesn't want to trade as much as you'd think. Because Marathi doesn't hate the other undead. At all. She doesn't care. But we're not paying her 15,000 gold for this. We are already at war with all the High Elves. Arguilana and Poxmakers. Okay, neither one of those are ones we wanted to peace out with. Alright, so I guess we're ignoring that. Alright, let's erase another bloodline. I'm gonna say the Lamian one. Don't really care about the diplomatic penalties from trespassing, but the... character experience gain is just too good to say no to right now, so... Alright, Lamia will be our first maxed out bloodline. This also means that I guess you... Oh, we don't have a tier 3 here. We need somebody who's in a tier 3 location to build that. And by that I mean the Lamian border mercenaries. Alright, well... You can't global... We don't have access to global recruitment, do we? Nobody's really nearby. Alright, we'll deal with it when we get to it. I think all the other recruiters are too far away for us to raise them. Crooked Fang Fort is not tier 3. I think Crad Tommen and Misty Mountain are. Maybe we do one here. Do we have a... Use one of you to do it for us. Let's do you. It's worth the 400 gold we spend on it. There we go. 4 more of these, and the living army will be up and running soon, which means we'll have to split this army in 2 shortly. Love it. Also, Slanesha Giggle. Also, Lord Not Moved, Unsigned Skill Points, Buildings, Garrisons, Outposts, Outpost Upgrades. No? Well, let's do building. Alright, anything important? Let's start with the good stuff. Well, I guess and the tier 2 and 4 upgrades as needed. Wait, what did I just upgrade? Just realized something. I'll hike. You're 1 turn away from tier 4. No, that's obviously the critical one because it'll give us more vampire capacity. You're fine. Lamia is also getting close to tier 4, which means I think we'll ignore it. Lost Plateau. Okay, you're nowhere near, so we can build you up right now. You can get the Gibbet and the Pastures, or whatever that is. And I guess the Balefire Brazier, because we need those everywhere. Land of the Dervishes. Yes to the Furs. Yes to the Port. And yes to the Gibbet. Always. Never say no to a Gibbet. Nobody take this out of context. Flayed Rock. Yes, finally. Finally been waiting for this. Flayed Tower, an incredible landmark, and just insanely strong for us in particular. The Tower at Flayed Rock has seen many, many, many awful things, as the name suggests. And it will see more, I'm sure. Let's upgrade. I don't know, Knobbly Gorge doesn't really matter. Alright, how are we doing here? I guess Talakwa to start because it has pastures, which is lovely. We'll have another pastures here. Haunted Mill. We'll ignore the wall at Lyonesse, however, as I don't want to pay for it. Valea's Sorrow, yes to the Lich Yard. Dawn's Landing, yes to the... nothing, because well, Tor Serpent, nah. They'll probably get attacked, so we'll just leave them. They're bait, at least for now. Paravent. You are going for the Balefire Brazier. Haunted Forest, you are going for the Exotic Animal Tamer, or Trainer, or whatever it was. Waterfall Palace, you are going for nothing, because we... Well... Yeah, let's start with the Balefire Brazier. We'll probably get rid of it once it's tier 3, but that's going to take a while. Frankly, you know what? Uncollect the income, and... go for the Foster Terror. We need a place to grow to tier 3 and then just ignore it for the rest of all time. Stormhenge, do we bother upgrading you? I think not yet, because if these guys get an army up and running at Galbaraz, it'll be an expense. Yeah. It'll be an expensive loss. Fortburg Braze the same. Sumpit, got the gibbet there. Alright, looks good to me. End turn. And that'll just mean another turn for the, for Bathilda's army to get closer. Miao Ying will end our trade agreement. Oh, we're going to pit Cathayan against Cathayan, Dragon against Dragon as we force Western provinces to attack you later on, aren't we? Assuming that you don't get crushed. Alright, looks like, the elves go for Dawn's Light, then what did Kairos do? Oh, don't tell me he went out to sea, or the elves killed him. We want his defeat trade just as we got Teclis's. This is going to be an interesting development. Alright, come on, let's see what we got here. And ambush foil. Oh, well, that explains why they didn't move that way. And Kairos did indeed run away. Oh, he teleported that way. Little coward. Go after Arwenil, I guess. I picked the wrong one. That succeed? Did that succeed? Game. Broken Teeth Rebellion. Oh, that's already surprising. Don't collect the income there. Shambletown Plague Student. So should probably set the students where they need to be. Alright, Manny, go here. Yeah, these guys are going to be annoying until we deal with them, but well, we need to deal with Kairos anyway. And let me guess, you're too far to reach now? Yeah, just very, very slightly. Oh well, Manny, channel. And we'll see where this army can go. Frederick, I guess you are going to pick up this little mysterious island, and then you'll head southward. Mushroom stew. Hi, Mathland's Blessing, very nice. And then I guess you can march stance. I assume that we don't have access to... well, actually, you know what? Go to regular stance. I assume we don't yet have access to any of the fancy units that we want. Okay, so not here. Dreadfleet. No, we got deck droppers, bombers, and deck droppers with handguns. Okay, okay, that'll be nice for the flying army. Drown, nothing, and parts of Sartosa. Well, we do have the man-eaters with ogre pistols. But none of the fancier stuff as yet. Well, we'll get there. You, leave the settlement, go into channeling. Alright, Gustav Grigorovich. We could attack Ashok the Bloody, but frankly, well, I mean, I guess it's free XP, but we need to heal up, and we are heading towards Kygast Hellcaster. So I think we'll just, well, head towards Kygast Hellcaster. See if he's willing to fight us in the field. And just in case he... Whoa, 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 whoa. 2 armies? No, 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 no. Ah, nice try, nice try. Almost fell for that. Alright, you back off. We should only be attacking one of them with this army, because it's not ready yet. It's not complete. And to get ready, we'll buff up the Unliving Host, and let's get Cynosure, and... Or do we want Raised Dead? Yeah, you have Raised Dead, don't you? Yeah. Now, let's go for Evasion, and we'll try to get into Curse of Years and Wind of Death ASAP, and you can indeed have the Unliving Host and Cynosure. Trying to get to Nehekara's Noble Blood, and the cheaper, easier casting of an Invocation of Nehek. Enemy speed reduction, or enemy reload time reduction, eh? Piercing Lament. Or we save... Well, actually, we need to start saving at what point? Level 15. So, actually, we can spend these points and then start saving after. Alright, let's get Bending Reed. And I guess you are nowhere near there. Let's get your Bony Visage as well, I guess. Well, you know what, a couple points in Grave Warden Ghostly Howl. Did I get you Grave Warden Ghostly Howl? I did not, but I should have. Now the idea was to try to get Tomb Scream as fast as, or greater Tomb Scream as fast as possible, but a little bit of defenses will go a long way. Anyway, next up, Kadan. Are there a million rats near you? Not really. Actually, speaking of rats... Okay, I see Ikit's still floating around, but hasn't moved towards us. Still a concern, though. You're still exhausted, but stay near here, because there is another hero for you to potentially go after. Kadon, go to... close to Bitterstone Mine, and then Bone Collector, you can wait. Was there not another army nearby? You know, this is kind of a mini, and I'll just deal with all the hero moves between the episodes. Let's see if there is a battle on the menu. And where we could find one right... Well, actually, let's first see about Vlad. -8. Alright, it's hovering there. Greasy is moving down. How long until we can declare war on him? 8 turns. Okay, get there. We will want to move towards Shadowstone. I suppose we could besiege it if we land. Assuming that it's not a broken settlement. I guess we're about to find out. Doesn't look like it. Meaning we can at least besiege it. Yes. And stay right there, buddy. And in no stance, I suppose, we can put Saved near you, actually, only in march stance, which will mean you'll probably... actually, you can't get there, meaning these guys might sally out. But they'd fail if they tried, so it doesn't matter. You go into Necromantic Ritual and follow. Brains, go this way towards Pigbarter. Oh, Werner Helsnicht, you are going this way as well. And Transfusion Agent, steal from Red Rock. Oh, critical failure. No, Transfusion Agent, why? Alright, I might do this fight between the episodes just because, but anyway. Let's see about actual fights. I fear there might not be any for this particular time, as in... Well, what about this? Well, there's somebody at Iron Rock. It's not crazily well defended, though. They do have a giant. Bloody Mary, please, succeed. I should have probably checked which one would be easier to assassinate. Success, yes, well done, Bloody Mary. Gotta live up to that name. Alright. You are going to attack Iron Rock. The damage though you are. And let's see what the game says. Pyrrhic victory, which means it's definitely very much in our favor, probably not worth our time. You will probably then attack, assuming that after we apply buffs, which we're gonna do right now. Mortal Horror? Let's go for Mortal Horror. And the Crypt Horrors are rapidly approaching the point where we can get them their high tier stuff, which means... Riches of the Night, so they're here. Alright, this buff is kind of meh. I also didn't want to double dip here. I guess we could just ignore it, but we need a few points applied. So let's get a couple points instead in Carriages of Death, because this way we won't over buff or double dip the buffs for our Crypt Horrors, because I don't want to do that. So that we're not stronger than we need to be, because making some adjustments just because we have this mod. So let's get Carriages of Death instead, and this will only buff the Mortis engines, which is, I guess, something we'll have here. So we'd want this anyway. And we're still, yes, we're more or less still ignoring the casting, but that's fine. We have the Necros for that. Speaking of Necros, Earthing, Magical Reserves, and... No, I lied. Ghastly Ambitions... into Mend Flesh, into Let Them Roam, or Stash of Organs. Upkeep reduction. This army is an expensive one. Yeah, it is a fairly expensive one, so let's do reductions first. And you can do the same thing if you can get there. Doesn't look like it. Close, but not quite. Alright, just auto-resolve it. I don't think there's anybody nearby that can actually punish us for doing this. Damaging though it may be. And occupy. Alright, well, you know what, folks? I think there's still a lot of admin to do in this particular turn, and probably no battle, so it's mostly moves, so I think I'm going to call this episode here, and we'll save it for next time, so that we don't waste any more, time. I'll do the little minor garbage battles between the episodes, and when we come back, we'll have some major ones against Kairos' armies, as we start the invasion of the Southern Chaos Wastes, and then hopefully wipe out Teclis before heading up north to Nagashazar, plus wipe out the Poxmakers of Nurgle for good and start the war against probably the Chaos Dwarfs, soon Goldtooth, and the Golden Order probably as well. I mean, if we're playing Mannfred, we have to kill Gelt, right? It's only appropriate. Alright, you may have noticed a little bit of a cut there. I was thinking about ending the episode here, but I figured we had gone on adminning for a fair while, so it kind of behooved me to do at least one more battle here. And, well, since this is the Red Duke's show, it's probably going to have to be his in this particular episode. Also, while that cut was made, I simply ended the previous turn and did as much of the admin as I possibly could so that we didn't waste our time with that, like the little tiny minor battle, or battles here at the Shattered Stone Isle and Dread Rock, because obviously both of them were a waste of time, and just had Gorsty move on in with his zombies. Anyway, battle was promised and a battle shall be had, and since there was nobody at the Crag Halls of Findal, which was auto-resolvable, we'll take Vol's Anvil instead. Now, these guys are currently allied with Talzin, Argwalon, and Carcassonne, and we're at war with the former and the latter, but not at war with Talzin, or the latter and the we're not at war with Talzin, eh? And I guess the question is, do we declare war upon Talzin, or do we declare war upon these guys? Does it really matter in any way, in any significant way? Probably not. Just gotta watch out for Orion moving towards us, because he has a lot of movement range, doesn't he? How long would it, how much, okay, let me, give me a second. Theobald, if you could just move to, ooh, no, I don't like that. Kemmler. If you move here, will you still have enough movement range to reach Vol's Anvil? I think you will, so hunt down this guy right here. Try to get Kem just a little bit more in the way of XP. Oh! You actually ran away. Okay, well, it's kind of rude. Okay, at this point we should probably move here so that we can actually reach where we want to go. Alright, well then just leave that one alone. We don't really care about the Crag Halls of Findal anyway. And let's put you here. I guess we could put Theobald into the Crag Halls to defend it. Anyway, I guess we'll just declare war upon Daith directly. Declare war, call allies to help, sure. And that should also probably weaken Vlad a teensy bit. And let's see. We're down to 4. Maybe next turn it'll just go to 0. Of course, we could threaten him and cripple our reliability. There is that possibility as well, but that's not a this turn kind of question, or maybe not a this episode kind of question. Anyway, we're gonna hit Vol's Anvil. We've done a field battle with the Wood Elves already. Let's do a siege battle. See how that goes. Kemmler, you can go into Vampire Channeling, I guess, and we'll attack in a second. I guess the question is, do we leave the zombies here to potentially die if Orion can reach them, which I don't know if he can, but there's a decent likelihood that he can, or do we move them in to reinforce and potentially at least leech a little bit of XP? And maybe we'll leech a little bit of XP, and if they want to retake Crag Halls of Findal, then they retake it. I suppose what we could do is we could send another, just set up another temp zombie army here. I assume we have raisable zombies and stuff, and just set it up to sit there and die, like any lord that we're willing to sacrifice, like one of these guys that we don't really care about. There is potential for that. Maybe that's a good idea, but anyway, that's all irrelevant right now. That's more admin, or at least it sounds like it, so instead we're gonna go in without admin and give the Red Duke yet another show. Ooh, we got lots of good defenders. Gonna have to fight all those Wildwood Rangers in the close confines of the enemy's settlement as well. Go.
Souls out.
Alrighty, here we go. Durthu may have essentially weakened his own faction too far by attempting to attack us rather than playing defensively, but Torgavon here will still be a very good option for a proper fight. We have our Barrow Guardians summoned from our White King, and they're going to lead the charge as they will be taking the brunt of the enemy arrows while the rest of our Graveguard move in. Now, when deploying, I did make a slight mistake by leaving the Crypt Horrors and the Corpse Guard out here. I got too excited to join the fight and only move these guys around, so we're going to have to deal with it. Namely, the Red Duke is going to go after the Hawk Riders and hunt them down before they do too much damage. Definitely have to be careful, as Hawk Riders are already very nasty in vanilla, and they're extremely nasty in SFO, like just ridiculously nasty. Both great in melee and in range, especially at sniping single entities and doing massive melee damage if we let them. So, hopefully the Red Duke can hunt them down. They will, of course, course not want to get into a direct confrontation with him and will continue moving away, but let's hope that he can force them to engage. Really need some way to slow aerial units down like this, or later on possibly. The dragon might help in terms of dishing out splash damage. Anyway, that's probably going to go for quite the while, or go on for quite the while, but we continue, or now begin to advance. The Barrow Guardians have reached the first of the enemy barricades and will begin whacking away at them. And it looks like the enemy will send some of their Eternal Guard through the walls in order to try to hold the Barrow Guardians back. We're going to heal them up. Yes, it's a summoned unit. We don't care about their casualties, but I might as well allow them to stay on field for longer while the rest of our units advance. Unlike the fight against the Bretonnians, where we allowed the enemy to hit us with their arrow rain, though, we're going to take probably quite a bit more damage here, as the Wood Elves have a lot more access to armor-piercing damage than the Bretonnians do at range. And obviously the Wood Elf archers are going to be a lot nastier, so... yeah, the Bear Guardians dropped to about 50% of their HP and are now back up to about 3/4. The Grave Mistakes are taking about 3/4 of their damage, but that's alright. And Krell has arrived on the field. I do want to have several White Kings in this army to move around with Krell. We summoned him behind the enemy lines, so he is having a little bit of trouble adjusting and moving towards the enemy. That's alright, he'll get there. He'll get there, and it does look like the first of the enemy barricades has been broken through, and our Graveguard are moving into the city. Kemmler is on field and joined the Red Duke, and so has the Ghosties that Kemmler currently has. Cairnwraiths and, well, just for now, those Spirit Hosts until we put them in another army. Hexwraiths, my favorite unit in the game, have also joined our units of Black Knights, and it's a big old cavalry charge of various kind of cav units. If we have space/time, maybe we'll make an all-cavalry army made up of different cav units later on. Anyway, Hexwraiths charge on in and should be able to actually fight on par and destroy units like enemy Wildwood Rangers, which, damn, those stats are nasty, 5970. Actually destroy them, unlike the Black Knights, which would be too fragile to deal with them. The rest of the Black Knights, however, can charge right through and go after the enemy range units, tying them up and hopefully preventing them from doing too much damage to our Graveguard as they continue to advance. Hexwraiths are stuck where they are, but they're ethereal units and they can definitely push on through and sort of ride through the enemies if they need to quite well. I'm sure they'll lose a few units, but, well, I'm sure the Wildwood Rangers will lose more, as they've already lost about half of their HP. And this is a fight that's definitely going to go in our favor, especially as the Wildwood Rangers don't have the magical damage needed to deal with Ghosties. Our Graveguard continue to advance, but the arrow rain is really starting to tell. Our units are staggering, and both the Unburied and the First Royal Undead here are in extremely bad shape, losing model after model and beginning to crumble away. Will these units survive to fight another day? And just keep on charging. Really gotta stop all those range units from firing. Those Swift Shiver Shards probably doing massive damage. The poison arrows slowing us down. And ooh, the First Royal Undead are down to 15% of their HP. Invocation of Nehek comes in to keep these guys healing, rising even as they fall. And it is nice to see some proper damage coming in from the enemies. Looks like we've reached the enemy lord here, and we'll try to bog him down with our halberds and separate as many units as we can to, well, bog down as many of the enemy range units as possible. The knights that have charged in are doing quite well, though the Black Knights are being held back very much by the Eternal Guard. It looks like our cavalry is outnumbering the enemy infantry and cavalry, since they have a couple of Bretonnian units. But it looks like the Bretonnians are having a pretty bad time, same as they had when they fought us previously. Alright, well, we gotta run them down. Ooh, looks like a unit of Treekin is around here. We're gonna debuff it with Curse of Years, but do have to be careful, as all the Forest Spirits do have magical damage, and thus our units of Ghosties will be vulnerable. Black Knights are still attempting to push through towards the enemy archers, but our Blood Knights are fighting the Treekin, because there's really nothing here. Neither the Black Knights nor the Ghosties are going to be good enough at dealing with the Treekin to warrant fighting them, while the Blood Knights very much can. Our Our Graveguard are still kicking and have actually recovered a little bit of their HP. We saw them both drop down to about 10% HP, but both are now closing in on 50 to, I don't know, 30% of theirs. They will continue taking hits, but as long as they haven't reached their healing cap, we can continue fighting and advancing. And the enemy lord can hardly escape. Ghosties, with their faster movement speed, are also able to run ahead of the Graveguard and take some hits for them, which is nice in this particular case, as the non-magical damage arrows will not be super useful against these things with 50% missile resistance and 75% physical. There we go, Spirit Hosts helping out and doing some debuffs, so in this particular case, working together with the Graveguard, they will do pretty solid good work. Alright, and that's yet another unit of enemy archers tied up, and that means another unit that is not firing on our recovering Graveguard. The Red Duke is attempting to hunt down the enemy lord, but is now unfortunately trapped in the piles of enemy infantry, or one of the enemy lords. The Hellsteed just looks amazing, but yeah, obviously it has the problem of not having enough mass. I'm sure the Red Duke is enjoying himself taking heads wherever he goes, but it is always unfortunate to have the same problem as, Skulltaker did in his campaign where he got stuck. Though he eventually did find the enemy, and at least the Red Duke can fly and reposition easier in that manner. Anyway, our Hex Wraiths are pushing northward towards the enemy main points, or capture points, together with the Black Knights, while the rest of the Black Knights, led by the Blood Knights, are pushing towards the right flank of the enemy army, and are probably going to do their best to chase down the routing units. We also did have a bunch of skeletons in this particular force, but I decided to keep them back, as, they're disposable units, and they did have shields, but I didn't feel like waiting for them to arrive on field, and frankly, the problem with them is that they don't do much damage, and they'll kind of just sort of get in the way of everybody else. The Ghosties would be able to move through them and still attack, but they get in the way of the Graveguard, and the Graveguard actually dish out damage, so they work with with Kemmler's force by itself, but not when he's combining with multiple forces. That's alright, we didn't need to use all the units together. An Awakening of the Wood, I think? Or was that a Penumbral Pendulum? What is this? Is this a shadow? I don't know. Something hit our Ghosties, and by the looks of it did some damage, but it hardly matters, as the bounce power has shifted to 100% in our favor, and Torgavon will fall. Very, very nice. A very, very nice fight. We certainly came close to losing a few units as we charged on up, but as usual with our battles, the nearly destroyed units were able to recover their models, and we probably won't have suffered nearly as many losses as we otherwise would have. Nice little combined arms action. Alrighty, a very, very nice fight, and wow, we got 220 kills on this unit of Black Knights. Relics of the Dune Wars winning once again. Not the degree of the Red Death Blood Knights, perhaps, but well, there's a pretty big difference between Black Knights and Blood Knights as well. We took severe damage on several of our units. In fact, 2 of our units of Graveguard nearly melted away as they were advancing under fire from all those arrows. These are the shieldless Graveguard, after all, but they did survive with sufficient invocations of Nahek, though it did cost us a ton of mana to keep them up and get them moving forward. I love seeing the Hex Wraiths in action, and the Cairn Wraiths as well. As I said, the Hex Wraiths are my favorite unit in the game, and the Blood Knights are a close second, so match made in heaven, or whatever. Not that the souls of the dead will get the chance if we have anything to say about it. Anyway, 13k total dark magic as a reward. Pretty nice as well. Lovely. Let us occupy the place, just because, just occupy it. We're still holding on to these territories. And we got another Trickster Shard. Like, this is like our 6th one or something like that. Wand of Jed we don't really care about though. And Featherfoot Torque, we have one, we might want two depending on what we do with Vlad and Isabella, so since she buffs bats, but anyway. Corpse Cart with Balefire for Theobald Bachman. Still waiting for that Unholy Lodestone, and Torgavant secured, Storm of Necromancy, and the faction does survive, but I think we can't... Oh, that's gonna be an issue. You can't run Catra down, but it looks like you can't actually reach us, so that's actually maybe fine. You're gonna go into Necromantic Ritual and stay here, and hopefully thus not suffer damage. And Kemmler, you were the one who he really wanted to get XP, so you can get Return of the Lich Master if you want. We could also get White Blades to significantly further power up our ghostly units. Perpetual Regeneration will also increase Hex Wraith capacity, which we need to get your army maxed out, so we'll do that. And I guess Return of the Lich Master and then into White Blades next. I mean, at the end of the day, it might... in terms of effectiveness, it would obviously be a lot better to only use Ghosts with his army, especially since they have lots of regeneration. But he slightly buffs skeleton warriors and spears. The unfortunate thing about this is that a 25% weapon strength increase for spears, for skeleton warriors and spears, isn't much, considering the fact that the lords that buff zombies give a 75% weapon strength increase to them. They go from 20 to 40. Which is pretty big, whereas even under Kemmler, who buffs the skeletons, they still do less damage than buffed zombies do, so frankly, that should be adjusted to at least 50% in my opinion, especially since he buffs the ghosts so much. But yeah, he's the ghost guy and the White King guy, I guess. But I just kind of wanted the White Kings to be able to lead some Skelly boys in there, so yeah, I'll think about it. Even if I do love the ghosties a lot, I don't necessarily want two armies of ghosties running around. It might be a little bit much. Anyway, many. Oh, right. Arwinal here is trapped, and frankly, this army is kind of pathetic, so we'll just auto-resolve it real quick. It can't run away. Close victory, really? And yeah, we took some damage, and we'll return those captives to get a little bit of a cash for our trouble. Another Featherfoot Torque, another student, enemy killed in battle, mission successful is nice. Can't reach Kygast here, unfortunately, but maybe with us damaged as we are, Kygast will attempt to go for us. Or we can go into ambush stance right here and see if Kygast attempts to cross towards Dawn's Light or something. He has landed and he either attacks the Fortress of Dawn. Oh, he's going to take the Fortress of Dawn. It has barely any defenses. There's no garrison. Okay, then you are actually going to switch to, I guess, Vampiric Channeling, keep your mana flowing, and maybe this guy will be too scared to attack Fortress of Dawn while you're nearby. No guarantee, of course, but, well, we'll see. And we'll see what Kairos does and how he reacts to all of this, generally speaking. Next up, Wilmar of the Thousand Wings. You are going to... Oh, right. I just wanted to keep going. We are out of time. I was ending this episode earlier, and then I just started playing again. I'm just having too much fun with this. So yeah, I'm going to call this episode here. Next time, we will get our first battles against the High Elves, who we now have a war declaration against, as a Bathilda. And this is too many black coaches. We're probably only going to keep 6 in her army, but we'll see. Really wanted those land ships, but it's not going to happen now. There's no Imperial faction that remotely wants anything to do with us. I mean, look at the Golden Order. -223. It's just not going to happen. At least with those types of units. I also figured, since we won't get Pegasus Knights from Batonia for the Red Duke, which will be unfortunate, what we could potentially do, if we wanted to, was we could get him some Great Longmaw Riders to replace the Pegasus Knights. Then he'd still have a flying cavalry available to him, and let's face it, the Great Longmaw Riders are really, really cool units as well, so I don't see why that wouldn't be nice, potentially. Anyway, as I said, calling it here, I think next episode we're going to do our best to vassalize, confederate Vlad. If we can't get it by virtue of -5. I feel like it's doable, but if we can't get it by virtue of declaring war on other factions and forcing him to become weaker in that way, we'll just threaten him into it, which should guarantee a success. And then I do want to get him on the field. The only reason that we're waiting right now is that we want, rather than just threatening him into it immediately, is that we want to max out the von Carstein Forbidden Arts here first, and then build the Sylvanian crossbows, because he has some already, and we can buy by confederating him or sort of artificially increase the numbers that we can get, which would be nice. Especially since for crossbows, an 8 limit is it's fairly little. I feel like of all of the bloodline units, these ones should maybe be at 12 or more. I can see why a lot of the others are fairly severely limited, but these are Sylvanian crossbows. Or maybe Vlad doesn't have a limit for them, or he has a greater limit. I don't know. I don't know, and we'll find out next time I play Vlad. Anyway, calling it here. Next time, war with the dwarfs, war with the orcs, war with the rats, war with the elves, war with the demons, war with the chaos dwarfs, potentially chaos elves. We're pretty much fighting everybody at this point, except the other undead and the western provinces. So stay tuned for more of it all. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold if you're into the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.